2019. He has been a big advocate for computer science courses in the school and has helped presented the Hour of Code. Zack has worked on the art show for computer science for the last 2 years. The reason he chose to participate at today's TEDx conference was because he was approached by Mrs. Kane and Mr. Aguiar to participate on behalf of the computer science department. Zack wants to be able to tell his peers about how computer science is changing and will continue to impact our lives into the future. Please welcome Zachary Belo as he presents Closing the Gap in Communication.
Imagine it, a world where the common language barrier doesn't exist, where I don't have to go out and take the time to learn a language that I don't know. Because with technology that's being created today and coming around nowadays, I can speak to you in my language, and you'll hear me in yours, and I'll come back in mine. That's kind of amazing. Stuff like the ILI translator. What ILI translator is it's an independent device that requires no Wi-Fi or cellular data, and it translates one-way languages such as English to French, English to Spanish, English to Japanese, and English to Chinese. This is commonly used for travelers, but what if we could apply this to other things? What if I could take an independent device, put into a database with every language known to man, and talk to you on an everyday basis without any stuttering, any simple obstruction of our, communication? That's something that we should all want and strive for. That's something that we should have today. But I don't think enough people are advocating for something like this. It's truly mind-boggling that it's taken this long, considering every language out there, that it's taken this long for us to come out with technology like this. Referenced last year, these are Pilot headphones. What Pilot headphones allow is if you pay for the service and for the technology, you and I are both wearers of these headphones. If you speak French, it will translate to me in English. It takes about a couple seconds, but it comes out with clear and precise comprehension. It takes the way you say something, and if you mean it a certain way in a different language, it will come out that way in English. That's impressive. That's something that you wouldn't think that we would have today. That's something that you don't think that is possible, but it is. It's not that difficult. It just takes the time and effort to doing something like this. And these are the first of their kind. Why? Why has it taken so long for us to get here? Why has it taken so long for us as the human race to take this leap and bound in technology? It makes no sense. This is about 70 blocks of regular drag and click coding made, and this is an app made here in the high school by our mobile app course. Imagine if something this simple can be made by a kid in our school in a matter of 30 to 40 minutes, how often this and how long this takes for the real people who take the time to program the languages individually. Every word, every sentence, every phrase you use. That time and effort is somebody with an ambition. That time and effort is somebody who took that thing they wanted, that goal they had, and they made it accomplishable. That is something that we can all do. This is something we can all make. So why don't we take the chance? Why don't we learn more about this? Why don't we take the time to understand this kind of subject? Tell you the truth, most people just aren't interested. They think computer science is just for kids and a big button-up shirt, some goofy glasses, and wearing a bow tie. Most of them think, oh, they're the kids who get outcasted, the kids who get bullied. Look at people like Bill Gates. Look at people like Donald Knuth. They are two of the biggest advocates for computer science among education. They make millions and millions a year. They were both not that kid. Bill Gates was considered actually one of the most popular kids in his school. Donald Knuth was a tutor for every kid in his school and graduated from high school at 15. Does that make him some nerd that you don't know? This is one of the most popular translation platforms in the world. Most of you know what this is, and this is Google Translate. Google Translate has become 78% more accurate since its creation. I don't know about you, but to me, that's insane. The fact that it started out as a simple translation device that you could barely get to work, it didn't make sense, things weren't translated properly. Now Google Translate has made subcategories for languages such as, how many people here actually speak Portuguese? Honestly. How many people here are from the Azores or from the mainland or have family from Brazil? Your version of Portuguese isn't the same as the others. But Google Translate has the ability to take that subcategory of your language and translate it properly for you. I don't need to know the difference between Brazilian Portuguese and Azorean Portuguese to understand what you're saying. That's mind-boggling. And stuff like the fact that Google Translate translates beatboxing into actual words. Did you know that? Or the fact that Klingon, a language spoken in the show Star Trek, is actually a real language now recognized by the world and is translated fully and fluently on Google Translate. That's just kind of insane to think they have the time to do things like this. But if you also take a minute to realize how much time and effort it came from the beginning, how much work, how much dedication it took to put this dream into reality. These are the top 10 languages in the internet of millions of users. English being 985 million, 771 for Chinese, 312 million for Spanish, and so on. That's kind of insane. Now imagine you're one of these people who don't speak English, who can't find something they need for schoolwork. Maybe you're writing a research paper and you can't find a website you need because it's in English and you don't speak it. What if they had devices that instantly translate every word properly and concisely? That's something we have today. Why don't we have that same thing when it comes to speech? Why don't we have that same thing when it comes to common association of things? I don't know about you, but I don't like sitting in front of somebody who doesn't speak my same language, trying to talk to them like they're an idiot, or sitting there trying to point to things like they're a child. Makes no sense. I should be able to have an intellectual conversation with another human being. It all breaks down to one thing, though. Hardware, software, operations, applications. These are all the basis of computer science. I mean, most of you have iPhones, or Google Pixels, or Androids. Most of you are probably playing on them right now, which, But what it comes down to is that's all the basis of computer science, the coding that goes into every single app on your phone, the amount of time it takes to make and structure the software that goes into your phone. That's all some person with an idea, some person who didn't think they could do that, and they made their dreams reality. Apple just didn't start right in off the bat as the biggest corporation out there. Apple started in some person's garage and it evolved into zoologists, biologists, mathematicians, poets, who all came together and took the time to learn about computer science and took the time to understand what they were doing and made things like this possible. My point is, it's becoming essential. On average, a teenager can't go more than 13 minutes without looking at their phone. Because every second is a second you want to tell the world about. Every second is a second you want to know something new. That's not a bad thing. The bad part is you'll take the time to do those things, but you don't understand how the device you're using works. That's just sad. It really is. It affects our everyday lives, the microwaves you use, the ovens you use to make your food, the cars most of you drive. And my biggest point is it's the highest producing job in the world. Every country, every continent, everywhere, this produces over 2 million jobs. 20,000 of those jobs each year go unfilled. Why? Most of you here, if you're seniors or you're juniors like me, you don't realize that this is a career field that if you take the time to understand, you might like. And if you like it, you could make up to, I think the lowest average for an out-of-college computer programmer is $100,000 a year. That's crazy. I don't know about you, but I want to make real money someday. I want to do something I love, and I took the time and effort to learn this. And by learning this, I found out that I have access to jobs like this. It's not going to be hard for me in the future. They say that we're doomed to fail because we don't have enough jobs to produce. We don't have simple things like this. But we do. You're just not looking in the right place. I promise you, if you take the time to learn stuff like this, it will affect your future and you will better yourself knowing you have learned about the basis of computer science. I'm going to leave you with a quote by somebody I referenced earlier, Donald Knuth. People think that computer science is the art of geniuses, but the actual reality is the opposite. Just many people doing things that build on each other, like a wall of many stones. A wall of many stones that each of you individuals are. You're that one stone who takes that chance. You find something you love in the computer science field, and you make that your life. Each person who does that, one by one, little by little, no matter how long it takes, we end up creating a wall of something that can be important. Thank you.